Hello class, welcome to week 2 of Pol 310, Environmental Politics. I really enjoyed reading your discussion questions for week 1, and in general they were very good, although some could use improvement. With that in mind, I'd like to offer some tips and advice on how to confront this week's topics and assignments. The course provides a wealth of resources and contextual information as you confront environmental subjects such as air quality and clean water. My purpose in both the instructor guidance for week 2 and the welcome to week 2 announcement is to provide a general and flexible outline that each of you may build on to develop a strategy for addressing the course material and exercises this week. I'd like to make a brief statement about my general expectations regarding student performance in graded exercises. I expect students to answer the questions posed to them in graded exercises. They should demonstrate serious and sophisticated thinking regarding the issues raised in those exercises. They should present arguments that are clear and coherent. They should back up their positions with empirical evidence from credible sources, either from the course material or outside sources. These sources should also be cited in APA style. Finally, work should be presented in a polished format. If you meet those requirements, then you should be fine. As an added tip, be sure to familiarize yourself with the relevant grading rubrics which will be used to evaluate your discussion posts and paper assignments. As you think about answering the discussion questions, a good place to start looking for sources is found under the Helpful Readings, Tips and Advice area in both the Week 2 Instructor Guidance and the Welcome to Week 2 Announcement. Now, while the course divides material up into a list of required and recommended resources, my concern is actually how well you answer the questions and master the material. As a result, it doesn't matter to me whether you use required or recommended resources to answer the questions. Either is fine, and I treat them both as equally valid, provided they back up and support your opinion. Moreover, if you can find credible material outside the resources assigned or recommended in the class, which also substantiate your arguments, then by all means, use those outside sources. I will treat them as equal in value to anything from the class, provided it's effective at answering the questions and the material is credible. And that brings me to another thing. Remember that to make your case, you will need to include supporting evidence. Moreover, even in the case of individual discussion questions, you may need to employ multiple sources to fully answer the questions. Now I'd like to offer some tips for completing the first paper assignment on clean air and water policies. Remember that your paper will address either the Clean Air Act or the Clean Water Act. Do not write about both, just one of them. Now first, begin your paper by describing the major provisions of and the amendments to the Act in question. Second, evaluate the overall effectiveness of the Act in protecting air and water resources, or water resources, I should say. Third, describe one social problem, one ethical problem, and one political problem associated with the Act, and then evaluate the effectiveness of the Act in addressing those problems. Finally, make one recommendation for improving the Act. Now remember that the paper must be 4 to 5 pages in length, excluding the title and reference pages. You must also use at least 4 scholarly sources, at least 2 of which must be found in the Ashford University Library, other than the textbook, to support your claims. So you have to use at least 4 scholarly sources besides the textbook, and at least 2 of those sources have to be found in the Ashford University Library. Remember to cite your sources in text and on the reference page. For information regarding APA samples and tutorials in terms of references, visit the Ashford Writing Center located within the Learning Resources tab on the left navigation toolbar. Finally, carefully review the grading rubric for the criteria that will be used to evaluate your assignment. Good luck this week, and I hope you have a great time. And if you have any questions, please let me know.